Imagine this. You upload a photo online. Within minutes, people begin liking it. Someone comments, "You look amazing." Another person says, "You're so talented." Suddenly, you feel lighter, happier, more confident. Nothing about your life has actually changed. Your bank account is the same. Your problems are still there. Your future is exactly where it was a few minutes ago. Yet somehow, a few words from complete strangers have changed the way you feel about yourself. Now imagine the opposite. You work hard on something for weeks. You proudly show it to someone, expecting appreciation. They barely react. They simply nod and move on. Or worse, they criticize it. Suddenly, all your confidence disappears. You begin questioning your abilities. You wonder if you're actually good enough. You replay their words again and again inside your mind. Why does this happen? Why does one compliment make us feel powerful, while one criticism can destroy our confidence? Why do human beings crave appreciation so deeply? And why does praise sometimes feel almost addictive? The answer has very little to do with modern life. In fact, it began tens of thousands of years before social media, before schools, before jobs, and before civilization itself. Because hidden inside your brain is an ancient survival system that still believes something remarkable being appreciated means staying alive. To understand this, we have to travel back nearly 50,000 years. Imagine you're living inside a small tribe. Around 30 or 40 people share everything together. They hunt together, protect each other, raise children together, and depend on one another every single day. In that world, your survival depends entirely on your social value. If the tribe respects you, they share food with you. They protect you. They trust you. They choose you during dangerous situations. But if you lose the tribe's respect, everything changes. You're ignored, excluded, left behind. And in the ancient world, exclusion often meant death. There were no supermarkets, no police, no hospitals. Alone, very few people survived for long, over thousands of generations. While evolution rewarded brains that constantly monitored social approval. Slowly, your nervous system developed an extraordinary sensitivity to praise, respect, and acceptance. Even today, your brain still carries that ancient programming. Deep inside, your brain lives a chemical called dopamine. Most people call dopamine the pleasure chemical, but that's only part of the story. Dopamine is actually the chemical of motivation and reward. Every time your brain believes you've gained something valuable, it releases dopamine. Food, safety, achievement, love, and perhaps surprisingly, social approval. Every compliment, every smile, every like on social media, every word of appreciation quietly activates your brain's reward system. For a brief moment, your brain says, "This is good. We are accepted. We belong." That's why compliments feel surprisingly powerful. They aren't simply words. They're ancient survival signals interpreted by a brain that evolved in tribal societies. Modern technology has amplified this system beyond anything evolution ever prepared us for. Thousands of years ago, you might receive praise from a handful of people during your entire day. Today, one post can expose you to hundreds or even thousands of opinions within minutes. Every notification becomes a tiny reward. Every like becomes another signal of approval. Slowly, your brain begins expecting those rewards. Without realizing it, many people stop creating because they enjoy creating. They create because they crave validation. They stop asking, "Do I enjoy this?" and begin asking, "Will people like this?" The source of happiness quietly shifts from within to outside. And that is where one of the greatest psychological traps begins. Because once your happiness depends on praise, your peace also depends on it. If compliments make you feel valuable, criticism begins making you feel worthless. If applause defines your confidence, silence begins feeling like failure. This explains why many successful people still feel deeply insecure. From the outside, they receive admiration from millions. Yet inside, they constantly fear losing it. Their brain has confused approval with identity. The applause becomes emotional oxygen. The possibility of losing that applause feels terrifying. Psychologists call this external validation, allowing other people's opinions to determine your self-worth. The dangerous part is that external validation never truly satisfies the brain. The reward fades quickly. Yesterday's compliment no longer feels enough. Today's success becomes tomorrow's expectation. Your brain always asks for more praise, more recognition, more attention, more followers, more achievements. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. No matter how much approval enters, it never feels completely full. But here's the deeper question. If praise feels so good, why does it never seem to last? Why does confidence built on compliments disappear so quickly? And why do some people seem completely unaffected by what others think, while others spend their entire lives chasing approval? The answer lies in another hidden system inside your brain, one that silently decides whether you live for your own values or for everyone else's expectations. And once you understand that system, you'll never hear a compliment the same way again. The most dangerous thing about praise isn't that it feels good. The dangerous thing is that your brain slowly begins believing it needs praise in order to feel valuable. At first, it seems harmless. You enjoy compliments. You appreciate recognition. You feel motivated when people notice your efforts. But little by little, something changes. Without realizing it, your brain begins connecting your self-worth to other people's opinions. You stop asking yourself, that small shift changes everything. Imagine a child who spends years hearing only one sentence, "I'm proud of you," when you get good grades. The child doesn't hear the second part out loud, but the brain quietly completes the sentence. They seek approval, receive temporary happiness, lose that feeling, seek more approval, and repeat the process again. Psychologists sometimes call this the hedonic treadmill. No matter how much praise you receive, your brain quickly adapts and begins wanting more. Yesterday's achievement becomes today's normal. Yesterday's compliments no longer create the same emotional reward. Soon, what once felt extraordinary feels ordinary. That's why fame rarely creates lasting happiness. Wealth rarely creates lasting confidence. External success cannot permanently satisfy a brain that has learned to depend on external validation. Then comes another hidden trap comparison. Imagine two artists creating beautiful paintings. One paints because expressing emotions brings joy. The other paints only to receive praise. At first, both seem equally motivated. But over time, something different happens. The first artist continues growing because the reward comes from within. The second artist slowly loses passion because the reward depends entirely on other people's reactions. If people praise the painting, they feel inspired. If people ignore it, they feel like failures. The activity hasn't changed. The source of motivation has. This is why so many talented people eventually burn out. They stop loving what they once enjoyed because their brain has replaced purpose with approval. So fortunately, neuroscience also offers hope. Your brain is remarkably adaptable. Just as it learned to depend on praise, it can learn to find satisfaction elsewhere. And this process begins with one powerful realization. Your value existed before anyone ever complimented you. Think about a mountain standing alone in the wilderness. It doesn't become magnificent because someone admires it. A star doesn't shine because people applaud it. A flower doesn't bloom because someone notices it. Their value exists independently of observation. Human beings often forget this truth. We spend years asking the world to tell us who we are, and when the answer has always existed inside us. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even if nobody sees it, your brain receives new evidence. Every time you choose integrity over applause, courage over comfort, or purpose over popularity, you slowly build a different identity. Instead of saying, "I'm valuable because people praise me," your brain begins learning a healthier belief. People's praise is enjoyable, but it does not define my worth. That single change transforms everything. Suddenly, compliments become gifts instead of necessities. Criticism becomes information instead of identity. Silence stops feeling like rejection. You no longer chase approval because your confidence no longer depends on it. Ironically, this is also the moment many people become more successful. When your actions are driven by purpose rather than validation, you take greater risks, become more authentic, and stop living according to everyone else's expectations. In the end, praise is not the enemy. Every human being enjoys appreciation. The danger begins only when appreciation becomes the foundation of your identity. Because the moment you hand someone else the power to define your worth, you also hand them the power to control your happiness. Your brain may naturally crave approval, but your mind has the ability to choose something greater. There's self-respect, inner confidence, purpose. These are rewards no one can take away from you. So the next time someone praises you, smile and appreciate it. But remember this, their words do not create your value. They simply recognize a value that was already there. And the day you truly believe that, you stop living for applause and start living as the person you were always capable of becoming.